Good evening and welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Njoroge and we're going to talk about the challenges that you're most likely to face if you work in the field. One of the challenges is that you go through more wear and tear than other people who are based indoors. And this is something that makes it discouraging to work in the field. But with some guidance and some tips, it can be a breeze. As much as we appreciate the hot weather, sometimes it can get a tad too hot for comfort. When you're out there in the field, one of the things you need to be aware about is the sun. The sun can actually be quite ravaging in the skin, and you need to wear sunscreen anytime you're out. Choose a good sunscreen of at least SPF 15. It does not have to be costly, but you must be consistent in using sunscreen. Without the use of the sunscreen, you'll find the harsh equatorial sun will really mess you up. Another thing that you need when you're in the field is to dress for comfort. Do not wear clothes that are made of synthetic fabric. At least you should get things that are blends of polyester and cotton, or even 100% cotton, because what you need is some material that is absorbent. Don't forget your antiperspirant, especially if you're bound to be out from morning, very early in the morning, late till evening, without a chance to even go to the washroom or anything of the sort. So these are some of the things you face during field work. Of course, we all know about shoes. Shoes have to be comfortable, and you cannot wear hairstyles that are fussy or styles that will get into your way because you're busy working. The last thing you want to be thinking about is whether your hair is getting tangled up in places and all these sort of things. And here's one just for the ladies. You too can look glamorous out in the field and at the same time looking natural. All you need is lip balm and some translucent face powder. With these, you are good to go. And don't forget, gel polish is a field girl's best friend. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Njoroge, wishing you a good night and a good day tomorrow out in the field.
Where's your man?
Business held him up, but you know him. He'll be here when he comes.
He should get here really fast.
Like, wait!
That's my husband. Always late.
What are you talking about?
What is it? You're afraid that your wife will find out that you've been her friend for the last year with every chance you get.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I've no reason to lie.
To hear anything wrong. Anything, Helena.
I'm lost without you. Please.
Touch me.
Please, Manda.
Get your life in order, Nakuru.
You don't want her finding out about us now, do you?
Boresha maisha na bima. Kifo ni lazima, japo haitabiriki. Pata bima ya matanga ili kuepuka wasiwasi wa michango isiyo na maana unapompoteza mpendwa wako. Bima hii husimamia gharama zinazohusiana na matanga. Pata bima ili kuhakikisha yote yatakuwa sawa.
Thank you for joining us. This is KBC Channel 1. My name is Kasavuli. Thank you for joining us on this Legends edition. It promises to be a dynamic bulletin all the way through to 10 o'clock tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Aburi. Let's look at the highlights first. Rare spectacle. President Uhuru Kenyatta joins Kenyans as KDF showcase their air prowess. Battle for the crowds. DP Ruto lands in Narok as Raila woos Bungoma. 72 days to the polls. And cautious days ahead. COVID-19 positivity rate shows steady rise at 5.6 on Saturday. Thank you. I'm in such a hurry to give you the bulletin. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this news bulletin, The Living Legends. Well, Topi Liambila will be joining us much later in this bulletin and promises to give you quite a number of sporting events that have been taking place locally and internationally. And now on to the news making headlines all over Kenya and the world. The Kenya Defense Forces Saturday led a spectacular air show displaying its capabilities in the country's skies. The event, which included both military and civilian aircrafts on tactical air maneuvers, took place at the historic Uhuru Gardens and attracted hundreds of spectators and was graced by President Uhuru Kenyatta and visiting Ethiopian Prime Minister Ahmed Abiy.
It was a show of its kind as the military and civilian aircrafts graced the Kenyan skies for an air show that attracted hundreds of Kenyan spectators. President Uhuru Kenyatta arriving at the venue, driving himself in the company of visiting Ethiopian Prime Minister Ahmed Abiy. The Kenya Air Force, which was the organizer of the event, showcasing aerobatic capabilities just for entertainment. The Kenya Wildlife Service took the occasion to demonstrate its anti-poaching drills. Kenya Airways and private aviation companies in the country took the opportunity to entertain the crowd. The most captivating was a display on how planes can help in fire extinguishing airborne and a show by the 20th Parachute Battalion. Spectators who attended the rare event urging the organizers to make it an annual event.
Nimefurahia sana kwa chini ya ndege, nimefurahia sana ingawa sijawahi kuwa kwa airport, lakini tumefurahia na mtoto wangu alikuwa na turn 6 years, amekuwa amesherehekea party day na amesherehekea yote.
And we thank the government if we could have this kind of shows like every year. It will be a very nice thing for our country and for our people. We really enjoyed. My daughter enjoyed a lot. My son as well.
The air show is part of the Kenya Defense Forces activities leading to the 59th Madaraka Day celebration slated for 1st June.
I've loved to be in the military, but unfortunately I've never had an opportunity. But I'm glad that my son is here and we've enjoyed the air show.
Experience here was fun, and when I grow up I want to be a scientist.
And people that I saw around here today to try and join the army or the air force, as they have seen what they usually do. So it will be a great boost for the young people out here.
Inji tumepata vijana wenye wako well trained, and that is what we expect from them.
Today, goes down in history as one of the most memorable, especially for Kenyans interested and passionate about air shows. These coming days to Madaraka Day celebrations, when the country will be celebrating the 59th independence of self-rule. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 in the county of Nairobi.
Deputy President William Ruto now claims the Azimio coalition is using the Mau forest conservation debate to cause divisions in South Rift. Ruto, who addressed a series of rallies in Nyandarua and Narok counties, pledged to ensure the fencing of the Mau forest to build up on the gains of conservation so far, and that he will allocate government money to purchase the controversial Kedong Ranch to resettle the Mau community if elected president.
The deputy president led the Kenya Kwanza team to a whirlwind campaign in Nyandarua, Narok and Nakuru counties. In Narok, the deputy president officially announced Governor Samuel Tenai's candidature for Narok senatorial seat in the August 9th polls. Centering in Mau forest conservation, the deputy president took on Azimio coalition, claiming it was perpetuating divisive politics amongst communities in the area.
Sisi watu wa Narok tulishamaliza shida ya Mau. Tafuta biashara ingine, tafuta kazi ingine, tafuta sera ingine, tafuta agenda ingine. Mambo ya Narok na Mau tumemaliza na wananchi wamekubaliana.
The deputy president says once elected to office, he will prioritize the fencing of a water tower to build up on conservation gains made so far.
Ile imebaki ni kuweka ua tu fence katika Mau forest. Ni kweli ama si kweli?
Ruto also pledged to allocate government money with the aim of buying out the Kedong Ranch and resettling squatters.
Mambo sasa imebaki ni mambo ya Rose Farm tusuluhishe, na mambo ya hapa Kedong tumalize, kwa sababu vile tulimaliza mambo ya Mau, lazima tumalize mambo ya Kedong, ili wale ambao ni wenyeji wapatiwe hiyo shamba, na tutalipa kama serikali hiyo shamba iwe ni shamba ya Wamasai, tuwapatie shamba yao.
Ruto allayed fears that he would be rigged out after the elections, claiming he was keen on guarding his victory.
You can fool some people all the time, and you can fool all the people sometime, but you cannot fool all the people all the time.
Narok ni stronghold yako kwa kiti ya rais. Narok ni stronghold yako. Leo nyinyi wananchi wa Narok, si mumeona hii timu iko hapa? Si hii timu tutachagua kutoka juu mpaka mwisho. The solution to the land question, perennial land question, since independence, will be solved by the Kenya Kwanza government under the leadership of William Samuel Ruto.
John Jacob Kuria, Legends Edition.
Elsewhere in politics, Azimio 1 Kenya presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga is committing to improve the state of agriculture in the country should he become the next president. Speaking in Bungoma County, the former Prime Minister said his government will introduce the smart agriculture concept in the Western Kenya region to ensure Kenya is self-sufficient in food production. Wycliffe Okech reports.
Odinga on Saturday led the Azimio Brigade campaigns in Bungoma County, making stopovers at various market centers, among them Mandalu, Tongareni and Naitiri, where the Azimio 1 Kenya presidential nominee assured locals of massive transformation in the agriculture sector if he becomes the next president.
Wakulima wetu tunataka kuwasaidia. Wakulima wanafanya kazi nzuri zaidi. Nataka taifa letu iwe na chakula ya kutosha. Self-sufficiency in food production. Tunawasaidia wakulima kwa upande ya vifaa vya kilimo, upande ya mbegu, upande ya mbolea, na upande ya soko.
Raila also promising farmers of ready market for their produce.
tutahakikisha kwamba soko iko. Hatutaki kuona kama mtu analeta mahindi kutoka nje kabla mahindi ya hapa hajauzwa yote. Kama wakulima wetu wako na mahindi katika ghala yao, hatuwezi kukubali mahindi toke nje ya nchi yetu.
Raila said he has an elaborate plan to end land fragmentation in Western Kenya region to ensure more land is dedicated to farming.
Sasa mimi naambia nyinyi kwamba tunataka kujenga vilevile manyumba ya kisasa ya kuishi, kuleta maji, kuleta stima ndani yake, ili vilevile watu wetu waweze kuishi maisha ya ungwana.
The former Prime Minister also pledged universal healthcare, job creation for the youth, better infrastructure, as well as education for all.
Nimekuja hapa nimeona mabarabara ni mbaya sana. Tunataka Raila Amolo Odinga aingie serikali atengeneze haya mabarabara.
Jamaa amekuwa deputy president miaka 9. Kama hakufanya chochote kwa hii barabara yenu, anaweza fanya chochote?
Sasa hawa wenye wanapenda kusaliti baba, baada ya baba kuwasaidia, tutaweza kuwafuata kweli?
At the same time, Azimio la Umoja presidential running mate Martha Karua today concluded her 2-day campaign tour of Nakuru County with a pledge of all-out war on graft, revamped economy and justice for all. Karua reiterated the Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja coalition's commitment to augment the country's industrial sector in order to promote local manufacturing while creating employment for jobless Kenyans.
Serikali ya Azimio itaboresha uchumi, vijana wetu wapate kazi, italeta viwanda. Hawa vijana wetu wamekosa matarajio, waanze kuwa na hope na wapate kazi.
Wakati wa maji kuwafikia ni sasa, wakati wa matibabu kupata kwa jamii zetu ni sasa. Vijana mpo!
Kazi yenu ni kuweka mtu ambaye atashughulikia maslahi yenu ya kimaendeleo, ndio watoto wetu wa kesho na kesho kutwa pia wapate Kenya ambayo inaweza kuwasaidia kuchangia maendeleo yao.
For the Legends edition from Bungoma County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
A section of Wiper legislators are now pressurizing party leader Kalonzo Musyoka to join the Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. Leaders further defended the move by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to present signatures to IEBC for his presidential bid, claiming the move was just but a formality.
Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has been on the limelight since he launched his presidential bid and unveiled Anton Sonkuli as his running mate. It was a move that elicited mixed reactions from the political class since his party is affiliated to Raila Odinga's Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. Kalonzo has even gone ahead to present the required 48,000 signatures to Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission as required for any presidential hopeful. But pressure on the Wiper leader to abandon his presidential ambitions and rejoin Azimio is growing from within and without.
You had the clergy urging Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to reconsider his decision not to run as a president. You had the professionals asking Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka not to run as a president, but to reconsider his position and support One Kenya Alliance. We, the political class, we met in Manzoni, more than 400 delegates, and we made the same call that Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka reconsider his position and support the presidential candidate of Azimio.
According to Kalonzo's confidence, every indication is pointing to rejoining the Raila Odinga-led coalition.
And I know from where I'm seated, we'll be having a sound reconciliation within One Kenya Alliance and Azimio la Umoja. If that happens, you can be assured Raila Amolo Odinga and running mate Martha Karua plus Kalonzo, they will win election first round.
Kalonzo was promised the chief cabinet minister position in the Azimio coalition if Raila Odinga becomes the president. The Wiper party leader, who has been in London and is expected back home this weekend, is eagerly awaited to announce his next move as the roadmap to the August polls gains shape. Frederick Muki for Legends edition.
The Democratic Party of Kenya now wants the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, and 3 other officials to quit the party for gross misconduct. Led by the party's Director of Elections, Daniel Munene, the party says the move by the officials to join Kenya Kwanza Alliance was in contravention of the party's constitution and cannot be entertained.
The Democratic Party officials want the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, Patron Joseph Munyao and Chairman Esau Kioni and Secretary General Jacob Hanji to resign for leading the party astray.
We are all in agreement that the officials who had taken Democratic Party to Kenya Kwanza Alliance do not have the moral authority to spearhead the aspirations of the party and must resign from office with immediate effect.
The group is threatening to force the trio out of office if they fail to resign.
Removal because the tribunal ruled him out that he was nominated as a party leader and presidential candidate illegally. So already he is not representing the Democratic Party in any manner.
When you are at the top, if you are the chairman, or you are a party leader, or you are the general secretary, or whatever other rank you have been given by the members of the party, it doesn't mean you own the party. Therefore, you cannot direct the party as your personal property. No, you must consult.
Meanwhile, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has called on the clergy to preach messages of unity, even as he wants some politicians not to use the impending elections as an excuse of dividing Kenyans along ethnic lines.
Tunawaomba viongozi wetu wa siasa, wengi wako hapa na sisi, tujaribu tuwezavyo kufanya kampeni za amani na kuhakikisha kwamba tunawacha wananchi wetu wakiwa pamoja na wakikaa kwa njia ya amani. Let us not divide our people wakati wa uchaguzi. We need peace more than anything else. Na nyinyi viongozi wa makanisa tunawaomba tafadhali muombee nchi yetu, muombee viongozi wetu, muombee mheshimiwa rais wetu na wale wengine ambao wanataka uongozi wa nchi yetu ili tusiharibu nchi yetu ikae kwa amani wakati wa uchaguzi.
Matiang'i, who spoke in Kisii, urged the electorate and politicians to embrace peace and unity as Kenya will still remain after the elections. And Bahati parliamentary aspirant Irene Njoki has urged politicians in the area to exercise restraint and tolerance in their campaigns ahead of the 9th of August elections. She was speaking in Bahati after recording a statement at Bahati police station in connection with alleged assault against her driver by rowdy supporters of the incumbent area member of parliament Kimani Ngonjiri.
Vizuri kwenda against the law kwa sababu kama unatafuta kura, tafuta kura kwa amani. Kama unatafuta kura, usitafute kura kwa kupiga watu ili watu wakuhurumie.
For Legends Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, we take our first break this evening, and of course later on in the bulletin we promise to give you a nice history and perspective on the Mau Mau Chronicles as we gear up for Madaraka Day. Don't go away.
I'm the photographer Black Milk. I have an exhibition in 8 weeks about how things get better with time. Let's go! Darling Fluffy Kinky inspired me. That looks amazing. I'm seeing how the twists blend with her hair over time. How she actually feels more confident. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. She's really more beautiful every week. That's definitely worth celebrating. Darling Fluffy Kinky. Twists that get better every day. Just like you.
Wakati unapotunza
upendo na utamaduni. Balon ni halisi, inakuwa tundo la maisha.
That lets you shine.
To get John chapter 11 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *965#.
I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. John chapter 11, verse 25.
To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#. To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. And now on to the COVID-19 update. The country's COVID-19 positivity rate has risen to 5.6% after remaining below the 5.0% mark for months now. On Saturday, that is this Saturday, 128 people tested positive from 2,303 samples screened in the last 24 hours. Fortunately, no death was reported over the same period.
So the wearing of face masks in open public spaces is now lifted. Nonetheless, people are encouraged to maintain social distancing and avoid crowding in public spaces to ensure risk of spread is limited.
On the 11th of March 2022, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe lifted the mandatory wearing of face masks in open spaces. The decision informed by the low positivity rate and the uptake of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Siwezi kukueleza ati niseme ati mwezi wa Mei ama June hatutaregea tena kuanza kuweka barakoa kila pahali. Hiyo ni mambo ya kesho. Maombi yetu ni tusifike hapo. Na njia ya sisi kuzuia kufika hapo ni mambo ya kuchanjwa.
However, the COVID-19 positivity rate is appearing to be on an upward trajectory, according to the latest data from the Ministry of Health. In the last 24 hours, out of 2,303 samples screened, 128 turned positive, this representing a 5.6% positivity rate. The total COVID-19 cases in Kenya currently stand at 324,686. No death was reported in the country in the last 6 days, hence the total of fatalities stand at 5,651. The figures showing that so far, over 18.2 million COVID-19 vaccines had been administered in the country. Members of the public have been urged to keep adhering to the containment measures in place to avert further spread. Nancy Okwari, Legends Edition.
Thank you, Nancy. Residents from Kianjogu village in Salama ward of Laikipia County have benefited from a day-long free medical camp courtesy of the British Army training in Kenya Batuk and the Laikipia County government. The residents, who included integrated IDPs camping in the village and now living in tents, received treatment and medical attention for eye and dental checkups, malaria, common colds, family health care, hygiene, among other general health issues.
Kianjogu village in Salama ward in Laikipia County. Here, the British Army training in Kenya was giving back to the society through a free medical camp. The residents, who included IDPs camping in the village, thronged the venue for medical checkup for various ailments, among them malaria, eye and family health care.
Watu wametusaidia, wametupia dawa. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana kwa sababu serikali imetusaidia upande wa ugonjwa.
Na tumeshukuru sana. Hata the national government jinsi ambavyo wamekubali the KDF kuja hapa kuhudumia hawa watu wetu kwa ajili ya matibabu. Tumekaa zaidi ya hayo masiku yote bila ya kuona mtu yeyote ambaye amekuja kutushughulikia.
The majority of patients included the elderly, expectant women and mothers with their infants and middle-aged women. According to Lieutenant Gabriela Wheeler, who led the team of health officials, the camp has been ongoing for the last 3 weeks across the county in various centers.
Our observations is that people have had limited access to medical care, so we've been able to come in and provide that to them. Being able to see young children or older generation, anything from arthritis through to the common cold, and being able to treat them on the ground here.
Lieutenant Wheeler observed that this was part of the Batuks community engagement, where the troops dispersed in this area mainly consisted of the British Medical Corps. The medical camp was divided into 2 sections. One area would cater for medical consultation services by the army, while the other area was the Beyond Zero that focused on promoting family planning and cervical cancer screening. Beatrice Gatonyingetich, Legends Edition.
And now on to our news feature. For 2 years, a team of researchers interviewed Mau Mau veterans as well as historians' mission to document the history of Kenya's independence struggle from the perspective of the Mau Mau. The outcome is a series of articles, books, and documentaries launched under the banner Mau Mau Chronicles. Richard Munga attended the launch and brings us the details on tonight's episode of History in Perspective.
To access that past often leads to paths laden with contradiction.
It was a unique event held at the village market, Nairobi. Mau Mau veterans were here to witness both on their behalf and that of their long-departed colleagues as the history they helped craft during the struggle for Kenya's independence was being documented afresh and based on their input. The Mau Mau movement, spearheaded by among others Stanley Mathenge and Dedan Kimathi, led Kenya's armed struggle for independence from the British colonial rule from the early 50s until 1963, when Kenya gained independence and was granted self-rule.
Harambe! 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 Na mashamba yetu harambe! Na mifugo yetu harambe! Na serikali yetu tukufu harambe!
However, in what many historians have termed as a national shame, the Mau Mau movement for a period of 40 years since independence, that is 1963 to 2003, was a banned organization.
Truth is always the first casualty of war. And, in the case of Mau Mau, truth was really the first casualty. Because the truth of the matter is that these people were entitled to fight for their rights, to fight for their property, to fight for their land, and all the other grievances that they had, they were genuine grievances.
According to some historians, The attempt to downplay the Mau Mau movement's legacy has over the years come off as too deliberate.
The books that were being read in 1960, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63, even 66, about Kenya and the history of East Africa, they were all beating up, saying how useless and negative the Mau Mau was, did not achieve anything, it delayed everything. Now that's what children were being taught in primary schools, upper primary, in secondary schools, and when they went to the university, they were taught, the things were repeated. So the conditioning, the anti-Mau Mau conditioning through schools was a deliberate effort by the colonial government in order to ensure that once independence comes, Mau Mau will be beaten more. And there were those people who said that we shall beat you now, and when independence comes, we shall still beat you more.
It is on this premise that the Mau Mau Chronicles sought to correct in a bid to ensure the youth and Kenyans in general get a chance to pay homage to the deserving heroes and heroines who risked their lives fighting bravely to liberate the country.
Asking these people who were virtually neglected in terms of giving them a chance to tell their story was a very thrilling experience. We did encounter a few challenges here and there because they are generally people who feel forgotten. So one of the first things was to convince them that it was important to them to tell their story. As we were explaining to them in the Nakuru language, because it's not given.
The discourse on Mau Mau has not always been objective. Right from the beginning, propaganda was used as a tool in the war against Mau Mau. It was part of the counterinsurgency response by the colonial authorities to the Mau Mau war. So they wanted to disparage the movement as a movement by people who did not know what they were doing because they were primitive and because they were intuitive and emotional, not right-thinking people.
While it is commonplace in history to celebrate the leaders as well as Mau Mau fighters, some historians believe there is more to the story. From the elite Kenyans who went to study abroad in the hopes of returning home to inspire the countrymen and women's fight to freedom, to World War II Kenyan veterans who also returned home to disrupt the colonialist superiority narrative.
Tol Mungereza niwe wahuranaga na Hitler na Mungereza niwe wahuranaga na Mussolini noigwa nio mahuranaga na mundu ucio so Mungereza niwe wathaga bururi uriku ni akimagitagira na ni anyitaga andu aria mari anake nie ndingianyitwo ndari kahi riu ri nie ndingiathire kutwo ndari kana kanini no aria makinyitirwo ni macokire magicoka guku kuma 1939 niguo mbari yo yathirire
moke makiuga mambia kuwa munene ni atiri matana thi bara ina mateciragia muthuku no akue matiamenyaga ati muthuku no oragu akamenya muthuku no ahurwo na ingatu no mare bara-ini ndiria monire ona muthuku ndekuhaka rangi atuge kuonwo ari mweru ahananira mundu mweru akehitha akimenya onake no kiguoya na mundu mweru ni wore na umiriru.
Members of the Mau Mau Chronicles have for the last 2 years traversed the country searching for and interviewing Mau Mau veterans as well as survivors in a bid to tell their stories for future generations.
We ended up interviewing upwards of 60 people who are either veterans of the war or survivors of the war, in addition to a few experts on the Mau Mau.
Mau Mau itself is important not just to Kenya, course, there is the argument that it is responsible for Kenya attaining independence. But more than in Kenya, it's responsible for independence in other African countries. And some various anti-colonial agitations outside the African continent. So it had bigger anti-colonial, anti-imperial ramifications than sometimes is considered.
The effort paid off, with the final product comprising a rich blend of online articles, documentaries as well as publications.
Many of the people that had participated in the war and those who had also witnessed the war were coming to the, shall I say, the tail end of their lives. And this was happening without a good number of them having told their side of the story.
Proponents of Mau Mau Chronicles are hopeful that besides documenting independent stories from the brave men and women who participated in Kenya's liberation, the stories will have a place in not only Kenya's history, but also in the school curriculum for generations to come.
Well, that was a chronicle of the Mau Mau. And now we move on to Madenge, a weed menace. Well, residents of Isiolo County are calling on both county and national government to come to their aid in eradication of Madenge tree that has become a threat to them. Madenge tree, a Prosopis juliflora plant in scientific terms, which was believed to be a savior to pastoralists during dry spells, has turned to be a misfortune to Isiolo residents. The tree's invasive, gregarious and powerful colonization characteristics to the ecosystem have left residents in tears.
It's early in the morning when the sun rises and we set off to Isiolo County. Our aim is to hear and witness the cry of residents here due to a plant that has turned to be a disaster to them. Our first stop is at Merti. Here we meet a group of desperate women busy burning and cutting down the plant. Fatuma Lokicho, a member of this group, tells us that the plant has become a misery.
Mtu nakufa tu. Ile gombe na mbuzi yote nakusha. Hakuna hata meno. Sisi manyae nashinda kutembea ajili ya miti.
Hawa Aden is another member in the group who echoes the sentiments of Fatuma, saying their efforts to eradicate the shrub are bearing minimal fruits.
Ng'ombe wote naisha tu na hiyo kitu. Sasa tunataka serikali watusaidie, tuletee dawa.
From Merti, we head to Malkagala area, where we meet Abdi Tadicha, a resident who vividly remembers how the species was introduced in the area and how it has now colonized the area.
Imetufikia 1989 ndio ililetwa na organization ambayo inaitwa Kenyan Red Cross, Kenyan Action Aid Kenya, ndio walileta hii miti. Program ya kwanza walileta kama walileta hapo kwa institution ambayo ni shule, walileta miti karibu 19 hivi. Mimi nilikuwa darasa la 5 kwa wakati hiyo. Tukapanda, tukaweba maji, baadaye wali extension program, wakaweka nursery kubwa, wakaajiri hata mtu ambaye ni mzee wa hapa anaitwa Chalaboru.
Sentiments echoed by residents we interviewed.
Nasema tusaidieni hii miti, sababu tumeshindwa hata kupita kufika Waso Nyiro hapa. Wajaribu kutoa hii miti kwa njia yoyote wakiwezekana.
The largest biomass of Madenge in Kenya is found in Tana River, Turkana and Baringo counties. And as the sun goes down, closing curtains to mark the end of the day,
wabige sisi jeki.
Residents in Isiolo hopes the government will act urgently. Ruth Wamboi reporting for Legends Edition.
Boresha maisha na bima. Kuwa na mipango mbadala ya sintofahamu za maisha. Gharama za ghafla za matibabu zinaweza kutatiza udhabiti wako wa kifedha. Bima ya matibabu hukupa utulivu wa akili. Wazawidi wapendao hakikisho la maisha mazuri na bima ya gharama zao za matibabu. Pata bima ili kuhakikisha yote yatakuwa sawa.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes and I win.
Wow, you look great. Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Abuja, braids that stay salon fresh no matter what.
Our arts and entertainment industry has evolved over the years.
It is at such times that our destinies are written. Will we rise up in courage or die in cowardice?
Who are the movers and shakers in film and theatre? Get trendy as we review locally produced films and stage drama every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Cinemas and Theatre.
Brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya, Capture Africa.
Bodi ya wathamini ya trustees ya Teleposta Pension Scheme and Fund inawashauri washirika wote kuwa mkutano mkuu wa mwaka 2021 na 2022 utafanyika tarehe 31 Mei 2022 saa 3:30 hadi saa 6:30 kupitia mitandao. Tazama tukio hili moja kwa moja kupitia runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
Good evening, and once again, it's a big welcome. My name is Topi Liambila with the sports segment of the Legends edition this Saturday evening. And as promised, we have got a Bamba Hafiz for you. Stay tuned. And some of the highlights, of course, the Africa Club Volleyball Championships in Tunisia. And as some of you already have set, the Champions League, Liverpool vs Real. I mean, your bet is as good as anyone's. Now, the Kenya Pipeline qualified for the semi-finals of CAVB Africa Women's Volleyball Club Championships after beating FAP of Cameroon 3-1 in the quarter-finals in Laikipia, Tunisia. Pipeline will play KCB who defeated Prisons in 3 sets. They were in total control of the game from the start, winning the first 2 sets 25-15 and 26-24. Pipeline could not seal the match in the third set as FAP won 25-27. But Pipeline's dominance was beyond doubt in the fourth set, winning 25-13. Back home, the 5 of the Kenya Men's Volleyball Federation League continued with Equity losing 2-3 to GSU. KDF defeated Kenya Army 3-1. Prisons lost 2-3 to AP, while KPA thrashed Vihiga in 3 straight sets. Some of the action. A 100 karate players competed in the JKA Kenya Open Tournament held at the Parkland Sports Club, the first major event since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world in 2020. The event saw players from different clubs and institutions compete in the event that was also being used to prepare Kenyan players ahead of the Africa Universities Championships next month.
The Japanese Karate Association of Kenya held its first major tournament at the Parkland Sports Club, attracting more than 100 players of different age groups.
I feel good, and it's very fun to take part in these competitions like these, and you get to feel more, you get more confident, and you get to compete with other people.
There are so many guys who are participating, and by participating with all of them, I get to get that experience and to know different tactics from different people. So improve myself in terms of martial arts.
As my girls, they don't have interest in say music or dance, but I do not force them. It should be within them. Then only we can say go ahead. It is that thing. So if some parents, they see their the children, they have got lot of interest, then they can tell them to proceed.
The tournament, named the JKA Kenya Open, was the first since the country and world was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic that saw all contact sports suspended in Kenya.
This is one of our key events in promoting traditional Shotokan karate in Kenya. Because at JKA we promote the original Shotokan karate, and we want to grow it across the country. As one of the associations that exists in Kenya, we want to make it the best of the best.
The over 100 players were competing to revise their knowledge on the game, with the seniors preparing for the Africa Championship next year and the most recent, the All Africa Universities Championship, to be held at the Kenyatta University next month.
As coaches and as judge, I look at the performance in general, what they need to improve on. So I'll call them back again before the tournaments so that I can sense that more about of what I've seen are not working out good, because the other one will be a little bit tough.
We are hoping that also, just as a JKA family, we would come together and prepare these kids, as I've said, because the end goal is we're looking at in future taking them to international competitions, beginning with the All Africa JKA competition.
JKA Kenya is working with the Taikan Martial Arts Limited and the Paul Tergat Foundation. We want to bring together athletes from all over the world. We'll be doing karate, judo, athletics. We'll have half marathon and full marathon, and also swimming as Olympic sports, but in Malindi. And we want to grow sports in that region because we've seen talent that needs to be explored. We'll also be using same tournament to promote a small children's home at a place called Kadaina. It's called Thoya Awaya Children's Home. So we are doing this for the well-being of society and humankind.
The junior players who took part in the event are part of the Japanese Karate Association Kenya's long-term project of qualifying a Kenyan team in future Olympic Games.
Kenya Police came from behind to beat Posta Rangers 2-1 in one of the two Kenya Premier League matches played today at the Kasarani Stadium. Leading at the half-time thanks to a Patrick Otieno well-struck goal in the 37th minute of the game. Clifford Miheso leveled the scores before grabbing the winner of the game, handing Police the 3 points. Police are 11th on the table with 41 points, 3 behind their opponents Posta, who sit on 9th position on the table. In other matches, Ulinzi Stars drew 0-0 with Bandari FC, while Sofapaka defeated Vihiga Bullets by 1-0. Butali Sugar men's hockey team continued its winning streak in the 2022 season. They are currently topping the men's Premier League table with 14 points after beating United States International University Africa 1-0 today at the City Park grounds.
Butali Sugar registered a 1-0 win over USIU at City Park Hockey Stadium.
Constant Wahura netted the only goal of the game through a penalty corner in the first quarter of the highly paced match. On the other side, USAUA's many attempts to score bore no fruits as Butali goalkeeper Linus Sang guarded his cage with maximum agility. Currently, USAU is placed 8th on the Premier League standings with a total of 5 points. Butali will be playing Mombasa Sports Club in Mombasa next weekend. Earlier on, Kenyatta University men's team collected 3 points after beating Multimedia University 3-0 in the Super League. For Legends Edition, I am Nora Mungi.
The Kenya athletics team is ready for the 22nd edition of the Africa Athletics Championships, which will be held from the 8th to the 12th of June in Mauritius. The team comprises of athletes selected during the Athletics National Championships held at the Kasarani Stadium in April this year.
The Kenyan sprinters heading to Mauritius for the African Championship are hopeful of bringing home medals from the tournament. The event will bring together all participating African nations, with 47 out of 54 countries having already confirmed. The athletes who are camping in Nyayo Stadium intend to use the event as a stepping stone ahead of the prestigious World Championship in Oregon, USA, and the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK in July and August.
We are planning to hit the qualifying mark for the World Championship and the Commonwealth Games, and it's one of the best, the biggest achievement that an athlete can attain.
For Mauritius, in my event, 110 meters hurdles now 400, I'm going to make a qualifying time na to get a medal back home. Ni perform vizuri nipate medal. I go for Commonwealth Games. I perform because in stage by stage.
My expectation is to first of all to reach the finals, alafu to try and maybe qualify even for world champs, ama kama itakatana qualify at least even if wanafanya ranking at least nikwe kwa hiyo top 56 ya watu wenye wanaweza enda for world champs.
I'm going to run my personal best, but the most of it I'm expecting to run a good time. My lifetime good time. Yeah.
The athletes cited great support from the government in their training preparations. For Legends Edition, I am Nora Mungi.
Still on athletics, on a sad note, 2010 Commonwealth Games silver medalist Irene Mogaka is now living in hardship, having not been paid for competing in 2 marathons in Mumbai, India, and Las Vegas, USA. The 37-year-old competed in the 2 marathons in 2007, and until now she has never received the payment of $30,000 owed to her for competing in the events.
Kenyan athlete Irene Mogaka, who has competed in multiple marathons including the Nairobi Marathon, is living in poverty. Mogaka, who has competed in more than 5 marathons including Toronto, Singapore, Los Angeles and Vienna, and half marathons including the Berlin Marathon, has not been paid her dues for competing in 2 marathons in Mumbai and Las Vegas in 2017.
Nilikimbia vizuri nikatengeneza pesa, lakini kwa zile races kubwa nilikimbia zenye zilikuwa na pesa nzuri sikupewa, kwa sababu for example sasa nilikimbia Mumbai Marathon nikakuwa namba 2. Sasa ningepata $20,000 lakini sikupata hata shilingi. Hizo pesa ziliishia pale na sijui sasa vile zilienda, sikulipwa hiyo pesa na sikuwa na manager, niliingizwa na AK. Sasa vile nimerudi mpaka chini hivi nikikumbuka hiyo pesa yangu yote, kila siku naikumbuka hiyo pesa, nakumbuka vile nilikimbia hiyo marathon na uchungu na sikupata hiyo pesa.
Mogaka blames her unscrupulous sponsors for taking prizes she earned in the events and has now turned to selling vegetables for her upkeep in Nyamage Estate.
After New Delhi, India, sasa ndio after kupata hii medal ya silver, ndio sasa nikaanza kukua mgonjwa, singeweza kukimbia tena. Sasa nimeendelea na mazoezi, lakini kila ninapofanya mazoezi ninakuwa mgonjwa. Sasa niko na watoto wamekuwa wakinitegemea masomo yao nini, sasa iwezekani hawasomi tena. Sasa hata nikienda mazoezi, nafanya mazoezi, nikimaliza nakuwa mgonjwa, siwezi kompiti kwa sai. Sasa imekuwa shida, sina chochote, siwezi hata matibabu nikitaka kwenda vile nakuwa mgonjwa kila wakati, siwezi sababu sina pesa.
She says sponsors used to deny her a chance of competing in lucrative races abroad.
Sasa ningeomba serikali yetu ya Kenya iweke mikakati vizuri, wakati hata mwanariadha amekimbia resi, wamechua mbio vile alikimbia, kwa sababu huwa wanaona vile mwanariadha amekimbia. Akikimbia kama pesa yao kama italilisiwa, wafuate mpaka huko mahali hiyo pesa ilipotelea, wanafuata hiyo pesa inakuja. Ndio usiumia after kukimbia, unapoteza nguvu, unaumia mwili mpaka unapata injury na upati pesa.
The athlete who hailed from Masimba in Nyaribari, Masaba can no longer train or take part in any athletics competitions due to her health condition.
Hopefully the powers that be can be able to help out Irene in that condition. Now, Blue Ocean swimmers shown at the Coast Level 1 Swimming Gala dominating day one of the event held at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa. The gala comes to an end tomorrow, Sunday.
Coached by Mohamed Ahmed, Blue Ocean swimmers shone in most of the junior events to remain on course to winning the overall title at the Coast Level 1 Championship. In the boys 8 and 9 years 50-meter freestyle, Adil Ahmed won with a time of 42.62 seconds to top with 7 points ahead of Vihan Majitia of Bandari Swim Club, who came second with a time of 42.94 seconds. In the boys 5 years and under 25-meter freestyle, Coast Academy Samil Muses won in 34.05 seconds, while Blue Ocean's duo of Haidarali Haniraza and Burhanuddin Hamid timed 35.53 and 35.77 seconds respectively. Katu Matovu won the boys 10 and 11 years 50-meter freestyle with a time of 37.83 seconds. Zishan Imran of Coast Academy clocked 36.20 seconds to emerge victorious in the boys 14 and 15 years 50-meter freestyle. In the girls categories, Herana Otwenyo of Nairobi's Dashing Dolphin Club won the 5 years and under 25-meter freestyle category in 28.08 seconds. In the girls 6 and 7 years 25-meter freestyle, Katja Kimani of Watamu Aquatics clocked 18.66 seconds to emerge victorious. The event ends tomorrow.
Kenya Breweries Limited endorsed the return of the National Sevens Circuit, sponsoring the Christie Sevens tournament to the tune of $4 million in a 2-year deal. The tournament, which is hosted by Kenya Harlequin, is the second of 6 planned tournaments in the circuit and is set to end tomorrow. This follows a similar sponsorship of 4 million shillings for the concluded George Mwangi Kabeberi Memorial Sevens, which kicked off the National Rugby Sevens Circuit at the RFUEA grounds last weekend. Some of the action. South Africa defeated Kenya to win a historical first ever Baseball 5 African Championship title in the tournament held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. But both teams qualified for the WBSC Baseball 5 World Cup. And South Africa and the top two Baseball 5 nations in the continent will represent Africa at the inaugural World Cup. Kenya swept the semi-final series against Uganda 2-0, while South Africa defeated Tunisia 2-1. 5 national teams out of 12 have qualified for the WBSC Baseball 5 World Cup, scheduled for this fall in Mexico. France and Lithuania will be the face of Europe in the global event. Teams from the Americas and Oceania are yet to be determined. Now, Now, hot favourite Iga Swiatek came through her toughest test yet to reach the French Open last 16 as the draw continued to open up for her in Paris. The world #1 beat Danga Kovinic of Montenegro 6-3, 7-5. She's now the sole top 10 seed left in the women's draw after exits of Arina Sabalenka and Paula Badoza. Now, to wrap up the show this evening, the much-awaited final showdown between Liverpool and Real Madrid in the Champions League has yet to start. Apparently, there is a slight delay to get the fans into the stadium before the big kick-off. And with that, we come to the end of the comprehensive edition of the sports segment this evening. It was a great pleasure to have you watching us. My name is Topili Ambila. As a sign of expecting that you're going to have a great sporting week, and we'll see you again next Saturday. But for now, it's over to my colleague, Catherine, to do the wrap-up.
Thank you very much, Topi. Oh, it's very sad the match hasn't started well, and it's good that we will get home and get to watch it. Okay, I'm on camera too, right? It's been a wonderful evening, very eventful, and I was so engrossed in the sporting events that Topi was reporting about. Thank you so much for watching the Legends edition. My name is Catherine Kasavuli. Our sign language interpreter has been Byron Aburi. And of course, we expect to see you next week at the same time. We love you. Good night.
Sexual violence has become a recurrent and a brutal feature in the general elections in Kenya since the 1990s. What makes electoral-related sexual violence stand out?
A lot of insecurity around the electoral period. So there is opportunistic, for example, rape.
So when I opened the gate is when I realized that he had bad intentions. And so he came in, we had a fight, he violated me.
Person really wrestles alone. And because of stigma, then there's the idea of you die in silence.
If all these organizations and governments were doing their work, or rather things are in place, elections, there'll be no issue about sexual violence around elections.
Aha! Msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, karibu tena kwenye kipindi kinajulikana kama Rada ni Yesu.